Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new day. It's Friday. So happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. So yeah, Fridays actually meant something different years ago. So yeah, when you're working Friday and you normally have the weekends off, Friday means a lot. Now that I stay home full time, Friday's just another day. But for some of you, Friday is exciting. I mean, every day is exciting to me because, you were gifted life another day. But yeah, Friday used to have a different meaning when I was working. I was so ecstatic when it was Friday. It was like, oh, get to sleep in and all that good stuff. But happy Friday. Me and Gypsy are outside, obviously. It is the first cloudy morning we have had in a very long time. It makes me happy. For those of you that haven't been with the channel too long, cloudy days are my favorite. It's about 69 degrees right now with a slight breeze. It did rain overnight a little bit, not too much. But that's the first rain we have had in a very long time. But it makes me happy to wake up to a cloudy morning. It is going to get sunny later on. About noontime it'll be sunny, all sun. And then we still are supposed to get to like 82 today. Hopefully it doesn't feel like 82. But yeah, only a couple more days of this heat. And hopefully we're done. So it's supposed to be 82 today, 82 tomorrow, which would be Saturday, and then Sunday it gets back down to the 60s with rain. And then the 10-day forecast is looking like 60s and low 70s. Perfect. Some of the leaves are starting to fall and turning color. I'm looking at a tree in the backyard here, but over to the neighbor's house. They've got some orange and reddish leaves coming through. I'm watching some leaves fall right now. Fall is definitely in the air. And in our backyard on the grass, I see a lot of patches of yellow, meaning the grass is starting to die off for the season. We haven't had rain in a long time, so that's probably part of it, but our mornings have been really, like, we've had a lot of dew in the morning, so it's keeping the grass moist. So I don't think it would be from the rain, the lack of rain. I think it's just the season turning. I don't want to cut the grass. I only want to cut the grass once or twice more. That's it. Because I can tell it's not growing as fast anymore. So I'm not in too much of a hurry to cut it. So I think once for sure, maybe twice. We'll see about that. After I cut it the one time, we'll see how fast it grows. Or if it doesn't grow, then I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah. I did watch a Christmas movie the other morning, because I subscribe to the Hallmark Movies and Now through Amazon Prime Video. I do that every year. Well, I don't usually subscribe to Hallmark Movies Now every year. I used to get like Friendly TV every year through the fall and Christmas season to watch the movies. But I watched a Christmas movie in the middle of the week sometime. I think it was called You, Me, and the Christmas Trees with Danica Keller. And I forget the other guy's name that was in it. But yeah. And I watched a fall movie too. It's called October Kiss. That's a cute movie on Hallmark Movies Now. But It's going to be almost time where those sales start coming out on streaming channels. So keep an eye on those. Like last year, Black Friday, I think I mentioned this already. We got Peacock for like $1.99 a month for a year. Normally, I think it's either $4.99 or $5.99. And then we got Hulu for 99 cents a month for a year. So, yeah, you got to watch out at this time of the year. They start coming out with those good prices. Yeah, if they didn't have those sales, I wouldn't get them. There are a couple programs I would like to see on it, but I would wait for the whole season to be over, get it for 1 month, binge watch that season, and then cancel it. That's what I used to do. So yeah. So tomorrow we'll be going back to the flying field. So let's talk about the cost of living today. What a crazy thing it is to survive in today's economy. So, as you saw when I went to Meijer and I needed some eggs, normally I get 18 count eggs. I like to have eggs on hand because I hard boil them, I use them for baking, I use them for breakfast, I just use them for sometimes lunch, egg salad sandwiches, and I always like to have eggs on hand. So I normally get the 18 count, but I didn't that day because it was more costly at Meijer, so I didn't want to really pay too much more at Meijer. And Walmart is actually not the automatic go-to for lower prices anymore, because looking up eggs, I just looked it up on my tablet, okay? I don't know if you could see, but let me bring up Walmart. All right, so an 18 count at Walmart, large 18 count. This is where I used to get them from because they were the cheapest. And I think at that, they were like $3 or so. But look at Walmart's. Well, you probably can't see it because I'm on selfie mode and it'll look backwards to you, but I'll just read it to you. 18 count eggs at Walmart, $5.57. Wow. So I've heard bird flu is going on again, and that's the reason for the cost in the eggs going up again. But almost $6 at Walmart. Then I went to Pick and Save, which would be Kroger brand or Roundy's. They're actually cheaper at Pick and Save, $4.39 at Roundy's at Pick and Save, but the Roundy's brand. 18 count, same thing, large eggs, 18 count. Over $1 difference. So, and I've been kind of price comparing for some food, and Walmart is just not the automatic go-to anymore for lower cost food. It's not. Yeah, the cost of food is insane. The cost to rent an apartment is insane. Yesterday I looked up, as I was sitting here, I didn't vlog while I was sitting here yesterday, but I was looking up just out of curiosity because I hear a lot about rent being crazy for an apartment. And way back when, years ago, when I was still living in California, and I commuted from the Central Valley, which would be where Modesto, Turlock area is, but I worked in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I had with the traffic, it was a couple-hour commute each way. But back then, the cost, and this is in the 90s, cost of living in the Bay Area was insane because it's the Bay Area. It's going to be crazy. But California altogether, I mean, you move to California, forget it. But back then, just a regular 2-bedroom apartment was $1,400 to $2,000 in the Bay Area. Not even in San Francisco, in the city of San Francisco or Oakland or San Jose. It was just in like Fremont, those, smaller areas. Well, not small. There's nothing small about the Bay Area. But back then, it was $1,400 to $2,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. I can't imagine how much it is now. If you're from that area, how much are apartments going for now? They had to have gone up significantly now in 2024. I looked at apartments here just out of curiosity, because when I first got here, apartments in this area, a normal, just your basic 2-bedroom apartment was like $600. Livable. And there were decent apartments. There was some decent apartments around here for that price. So yesterday, just out of curiosity, just so we can talk about this cost of living here in our area. I mean, we're not like a major city or anything. We have a population of about 50,000, but there weren't that many apartment complexes here when I first got here. Now they're shooting up everywhere. I mean, they're just putting up apartments everywhere here. And so that same complex, when I first got here, that was $600, is now over $1,000 for a 2-bedroom. And just scrolling through the apartments here in our place, in our town, there was only like 2 or 3 that were under $1,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And one of those that were under $1,000 was a senior place, 55 and over. And they were, a 1-bedroom was like over $700 and 2-bedroom was over $800, which when you're talking about seniors on a fixed income, that's still quite expensive for them. I don't know how seniors do it or how anybody does it nowadays. And that just makes me think, well, I already knew, but I would never give up this house, never. Because we would never find as good a deal as we got on this house. I mean, you've seen our backyard, how spacious and beautiful it is. Our house is not the biggest house, which is great. I don't want a big house. Our house is like 900 and something square feet, just under 1,000 square feet. It's a small house, but it's perfect. We don't need a big house. And we bought it more so for the garage, not necessarily the house. We bought it for the garage and the backyard. Our lot is like a half-acre lot. Our garage is a oversized 2.5 car garage with a door to drive out to the backyard, which is where we sit and just look out. And when we were house shopping back in 2011 is when we bought this house. 2011. We were house shopping because when I got here, Glenn he lived in a side-by-side, a 1-bedroom side-by-side, and that's where we lived from 2003 to 2011. And it was $200 a month. Granted, the landlord didn't fix anything. And the landlord on that place forgot that the entire house was his, but he would only fix stuff on his side. He fixed his window, but not ours. He fixed his furnace, replaced his furnace, but not on our side. And we even had an inspector come in and say that's a fire hazard, that furnace is a fire hazard. And the inspector went and talked to the landlord, and he still never replaced it. So he was a slumlord. But I think it was afternoon or late morning, I don't even remember the time, but I was sitting in the living room. Glenn was still in bed, so it was probably morning. And all of a sudden, I hear a crashing down. I don't know what it was, but I ran to the room to make sure Glenn was okay. And I looked in the room. I couldn't believe my eyes. The ceiling had caved in. The landlord didn't replace the roof, and the ceiling had caved in our bedroom. I mean, just completely fell on Glenn. Luckily, thank God he wasn't hurt. It just missed him where he was, but I think some stuff still fell on him. And a big section of the ceiling just caved in. And yeah, it was crazy. We couldn't believe it. So when we told the landlord, you know, he was an a-hole, basically. Not like verbally rude a-hole, but just close the door in my face a-hole when I told him about the roof. And so we didn't know if he was ever going to replace it. And then I went, knocked on his door again, and I said, well, we're not paying the rent. If you're not, until this roof is fixed, we're not paying rent. So what we did was, we had given him a check already for the rent, but we put a stop payment on it. So he wasn't getting paid in rent until he fixed the roof. So after, I don't know how long it was before he got that roof fixed. It was a good month for sure, if not more. And we probably could have done something about it, but back then, we're stupid. And we didn't do anything about it except not pay him rent. So we just thought, we got to get out of here. I mean, when you rent, and I understand many of you can't buy your own home, but it's such a scary thing to rent, because you just don't know when you're going to be told you have to move. Either they're selling the house, or they're doing this or doing that, or, whatever. But we thought we got to move, and now we got to look for a place to live. But we had many cats at that time, because we had just rescued some, and a lot of places don't allow you with pets to rent. So we just thought, we have to buy. And at that time, my credit was a little shot, so I worked to fix my credit at our bank. I took out a loan, paid all my stuff on my credit report, and some of those were medical bills. And so I paid everything off over a period of time. Well, when I took the loan, they sent a check out to pay everything off. I had student loans at the time as well, but those didn't get paid off. I still paid monthly on those. But anyway, paid off all my stuff on the credit report, and then I made the payments back to the bank. As you take a loan, you make your payments. So after a certain amount of time, I think I paid off that loan. It was like $5,000, a $5,000 loan, and I paid it off over time. And then it bumped up my credit score, and then I went to the bank and I used my VA loan. When you use your VA loan, you still, with the bank you're going through, you still have to have certain credit scoring and all that stuff. So I was finally in a position where I could use my VA loan, and so we started house shopping. And we lived on the south side at that time. Sometime we'll show you where we lived. But we lived on the south side, and many of the houses at that time were like $100,000. And I only wanted $100,000 limit. We didn't want to go past $100,000 for a home, because in the back of our minds, it was always, if we lose our job, or if I lose my job, how are we going to pay for anything higher than that? So, so in the back of my mind, we were thinking, if worst case scenario, if I would get a lower paying job, what could we afford when we bought a house? So that was our thought process. So we were shopping for homes and house looking, and it got so tiring. Many of the houses were like pretty much $100,000 or over, but the garages were small and the cement were cracked and raising, and you got nothing for a backyard. So this house that we bought, we looked at it twice. The first time we looked at it, I think it was like $90,000. And then at the first time we looked at it, it was more so me. You know, when I walked in the house, I didn't like the way the house looked inside. It was probably more how she had it, you know, the previous owner had it. And that probably was the thing that turned me off. But after house shopping a few more times, we thought, Glenn said, why don't we take a look at that property again, meaning this property? And I said, okay, let's go look at it again. Came back and, okay, we're going to make an offer on this house, because she had dropped the price on this house. I think the first time we looked, it was $90,000, and it didn't sell at that time. $90,000 for a house with a yard and garage of this magnitude did not sell. So that to us was telling us, okay, we need to get this house. But we saw it on the market still, and she had dropped the price to $69,000. We got to get it now. So we came to look at it again. Okay, we're going to make an offer, because there was one other guy who was a bachelor, was also interested in the house. So we offered at that time full cost, $69,900, basically $70,000. So yeah, so that's what we did. She accepted our offer, and we were on our way to buying this house. And because I was using my VA loan, I didn't have to put a penny down on it. But before we bought this house, there was one other house we were actually interested in. And it was on the south side. It had a pretty good sized yard. The house was pretty decent. And I think that house was $70,000, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember. And at that time, we really wanted that house. But I don't know who it was, they didn't accept VA loans. Why would you not accept VA loans? I don't understand that. So after trying to get them to accept a VA loan, we couldn't get that house. But we ended up getting this house, so that to us, you know, it goes back to that saying, there's always a reason something doesn't work out, because there's something else waiting for you. And that, when we look back at it, that was the case, because once we moved here, and we thought, we were so glad we didn't get that other house, because this is just magical. And so we bought this house for $69,900 with a half-acre lot. And you see how big the backyard is. It's just beautiful. And we've always called this our little piece of heaven. And it is. So ever since we bought this house, we don't go out like we used to. We used to go out every single day. Well, I can't say that. And that'll be a story for another day. But when we were still heavily into fishing, we went out every day still after we bought this house. So that'll be another story though. But yeah, that's how we came across this house, and going back to what got me talking about this, the cost of living. Just looking at the cost of apartments and stuff, we would never go to an apartment, but I'm just referencing, we would never give up this house. This is going to be our forever home. We'll never give it up. And if something ever happened to Glenn, because we pay the mortgage and the house bills through Glenn's Social Security, if ever something happened to him, I would do whatever it takes to keep this house, because your house is your safety nest, you know, your little safety place. And especially with Gypsy and Patches and Blackie and Prissy, I would do whatever it takes to keep this house so they have a comfortable home to stay in, and me as well, because this is our home, and I would never want to give it up. So yeah, if something ever happened to Glenn, my YouTube channel will have to blow up so I can make enough money to keep this house. But obviously I would have to do something else to keep the house if YouTube didn't pay it. So, and if it were just me, honestly, if something happened to him, I definitely will budget down real bad. I'm pretty sure I can do it. So yeah, the cost of food would go down for me, but God forbid anything ever happened to Glenn. But I'm just saying, in reference, if something ever did, I would have to do something to keep this house, because our mortgage, and I'm just, you know, I don't care if I tell you what our mortgage is, but our mortgage is only $640 a month. So yeah, for this place. And that's amazing. You won't get that anywhere else, I don't think. I don't know what the cost of living is in your area, but drop it down in the comments. What's your cost of living there? What are you paying for rent? What are you paying for a house, your mortgage? So yeah, just a little conversation about the cost of living nowadays. We spend the same amount or more on food, and we get less because everything costs more now. So I think Glenn would be shocked if he ever went in a grocery store. He hasn't been in a grocery store in years. Since he's become disabled, 10 to 15 years, he hasn't been in a grocery store. He would be shocked. When I come home with bags and Mom, yep, this is all I got for this much. He said, what? And he just didn't realize how much food costs nowadays, but I think he's starting to realize. So yeah. But I guess that's all I wanted. I just wanted to talk about this cost of living, because it's crazy, and it really makes me think that we'll never give up this place. This is our safety net. You know, this is our home. And there are times, like when we first bought the house, I would come home from work and just stand outside and look around our property, and I was still in disbelief that this is ours. Even down to the little things like having a driveway to park your vehicle in. When we lived on the side, at the side-by-side, we had to park on the street. We could not use his driveway. That was for him only. And in winter, when you have a snow emergency, every night in winter, you have to switch what sides you park on the street. And during a snow emergency, you have to know when the snow plows are coming through, because you're going to have to move your vehicle right away. It was crazy. I hated street parking. So even down to those little things like having a driveway to park in is so amazing. I even still, we bought this in 2011, 2024 now, and I still think about how wonderful it is to have a driveway to park in. You know, it's just crazy. And I sit here sometimes and I still can't believe this is ours, you know. So now I'm just I can see the clouds breaking, the sky coming through. As I said, it's gonna get sunny about noontime, so, but yeah. But that's about all I have to talk about, the cost of living. Let me know in the comments, what's it like in your area? Rent, mortgage, cost of houses to buy. At least the gas went down, right? At least over here. So, but, alrighty. So I'm gonna end this morning chat. And I may continue on with a couple of things I do today. We'll see. But for now, we'll see you in a bit. Hey everyone. So I'm in the house now, obviously, but we just got done eating lunch, the hot dogs. But I was actually going through and reading through some articles on Google, and I came across an egg recall. So there have been some people getting sick from salmonella on eggs. So I wanted to share that with you in case you weren't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it until I came across the article. And I just want to share the states that are affected by it. And I believe there are 2 name brands that were involved in it. So it says, as of September 6, 2024, a total of 65 people infected with the outbreak strain of salmonella have been reported from 9 different states. So I'm going to read you the states, and then I'm going to go through and look for those 2 brand names. So states affected were California, Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, Utah, Virginia, and Wisconsin. So let me go back to the article with the brand names of these eggs. And it says the recall includes all carton sizes and egg types labeled with Milo's Poultry Farms or Tony's Fresh Market branding. So if you bought eggs recently and you're in those states, check your brand names that are on there. Again, it's Milo's Poultry Farms and Tony's Fresh Market. So if you do have eggs and you're not sure, I would just make sure you cook your eggs thoroughly. I wouldn't leave any of the yolk runny either. So cook them as just scrambled until they're all cooked up. Don't leave anything like runny or anything, just to be safe. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. And as I come across things that might affect people, and I think I'll include that in sharing with you guys. And so all right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this video out now. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch it. I appreciate the support from all of you. And with that, remember to live life, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Until next time.